Avenue or Geneva or 120 or whatever street you want to call it at any given point in time. It's not an individual effort, it's a group effort, and I've got a lot of people that are out there helping me. And they're really great.
I mean, that helps, and I've seen that. So, got yard signs ready to go now?
We do. They're fresh off the presses, just today.
There,
Yep, they look great.
Okay, just today. All right.
Today.
So if you need somebody to help you out, or somebody wants to help you out, and of course you always need somebody to help out.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, you wouldn't, but
Yep.
you need people. So that's why you can look down there, and you got the website down there, and your contact information is there.
Absolutely, and there's always a way to get a hold of me on my website. I right now am personally answering my emails that I get. So the person that's writing back is me. I'm still able to do that at this stage of the game, and I would like to continue to do that as long as possible. But yeah, if you'd like to help, if you'd like to donate money, if you'd like to sign up for a yard sign, it's all on my website, and that's at TamiXstrand.com. And Tami is T-A-M-I. It's the odd spelling of it. But
okay. Well, it works for me. And just the control room, I'm getting feedback on Tami's. It's coming back. Tami's mic's coming back into the studio. So maybe if you that 1-2 button, if you decrease that, we won't hear it back here in the studio. Little technical things. There's so many buttons to push, and you get one wrong, and it changes things there.
Well, one other thing, though, that
that's it.
Is that,
yeah, that's
good now?
fine.
Okay,
You're still
there's
good.
no echo.
Yeah, it's just not playing back into the studio.
You know, one thing that really is different about me than my opponent is I am very much so a fiscal conservative.
Okay.
Okay. You can look at this is my literature piece that I'm dropping on doors right now. It's black. It's black printing.
Right.
It's black printing on cardstock. Okay. The people that are giving me money, I mentioned before, are individual contributors. These are people that are working, are saving money, are not working. They're entrusting me with their money, and I'm being respectful of that. And you know, on a piece of paper that at best will be on a refrigerator for 2 months and then thrown away.
Yeah.
Do you really want to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on that?
Well,
doesn't make sense.
Well, you're right, and they got this thing called the 5-second rule. If you get somebody to look at that piece for 5 seconds and doesn't throw it in the garbage, that's all that piece does.
Yep. And in contrast, Incumbent Uyghur has, I believe, I saw a full color, a newspaper, many-page newspaper that he's handing out. So,
well, and that, you know, it's
that's his prerogative.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's coming from Senate and House money. Both Senator Uyghur and Representative Lilly, that's money that they get to spend as part of their budget to send out to people, but they send it out right before the election. Okay, the timing of that is real interesting, to say the least.
But I mean, what I was bringing up with this is, I mean, this is me. This is what I'm going to be doing. I am finding the best value for our money, the people that have entrusted it to me in my campaign. If I get elected, I'd like to think that I'd be doing the same thing with the taxpayers' money. I am very thrifty at our house. In fact, I drive my husband crazy sometimes looking for sales on things. But it's, you know, especially in this economy, you've got to be mindful of other people's money that they're entrusting. And those taxes are your money. That's your tax dollars that's coming into the state, and they need to be mindful of that.
Well, I think that's important because, you know, one thing I've done research on is education and salaries. And one of these days I'll do a show so people can find out exactly what teachers are being paid. But a second grade teacher with a lot of experience, they're making $77,000 a year with benefits for second grade. Now, I'd say, you know, that's too much for a classroom of 25 to 30. You know, I think the second grade, because it's second grade, you don't need to pay somebody much more than $50,000. Okay, but you can pay them more if they can be just as efficient with 60 kids. Then to pay them $77,000, you know, fantastic. But there's part of the thing where we're overpaying for positions that shouldn't require that much money. And so, I mean, being frugal in our tight budget system, these teachers do make a lot of money. Starting out, you know, you're working your way up, you're learning some of the ropes. But here's the problem, that when you lay off a younger teacher and they're, you know, getting paid $35,000, you don't lay off the older teacher, but that younger teacher ends up having you have to get rid of 2 younger teachers to get rid of 1 older teacher, and there's no benefit there. Well, anyway,
that's okay.
Frugality. We got to think through these things,
yes,
you know.
Yes, on all variations.
Right.
Yep.
So fiscal conservative. Okay. What?
Yep.
Anything else? And Senator Wigger isn't. You know, doing some research. Of course, this is Taxpayers League of Minnesota. Senator Wigger comes in here. According to this, he's 8%. His rating is 8% for saving the taxpayers' money. So he likes to vote for tax raises and just spend, spend, spend.
Yep, yep. And you know, unnecessary, or not unnecessary spending, but you know, when I've been out door knocking, a lot of the things that I've been hearing from people are outraged about that bridge going over Century.
Century?
Yeah, a lot of people have came to me with that. And you know, is the bridge a nice thing to have? Of course it is. But is now the time to be doing that when we're in a horrible recession and people are worried about where they're going to get money to buy food to put on their tables and roofs over their heads? It's really not the best timing for this. I think that money could have been spent better elsewhere.
Well, then the argument would be it creates jobs, but it doesn't, because it's a job that doesn't produce revenue. There's nothing being sold. There's no people that use that aren't paying for it. There's no way to recover the money for the cost that went into that.
And speaking of creating jobs, my opponent and his party say that government can create jobs. Let's get that out of the way right now. Government cannot create jobs unless it's a temporary census worker, which is great, temporarily. But what government can do, and what I'd like to do, is to create an environment in which jobs can flourish. And that's a big difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah. Well, the unemployment rate in Minnesota, we're looking at 6.8 or 8.6, somewhere in
well,
there.
it was up 8.6. I think it's came back down just a hair with all those census jobs.
So what can you do to bring jobs back to Minnesota?
Well, we need long-term sustainable jobs is what we really need. And to do that, we've got to do a couple things. We've got to get out of businesses' way. We need to make the environment friendly for them. There are so many taxes and fees and regulations that it's horrible for a company to even try to start up a new business or to expand. And Minnesota has the third highest corporate income tax in the United States.
Okay.
And you wonder why businesses are leaving and heading over to South Dakota or out of the country. It's just not a very friendly environment.
Well, and I believe that corporations should be taxed because they get special privileges to exist. But we're also taxing the individual very high, and just all these other added taxes
Right
come
across
into
the board,
play.
Minnesota taxes are among the highest.
Yeah. Okay, so you would work to lower the taxes.
Absolutely.
And get our budget more in line.
And the thing is, with the taxes on the businesses, those businesses are in survival mode right now. They don't know what's coming around the corner with the Obamacare and everything that the new fees and the new taxes and everything that's going to be going into effect. They're in survival mode. They're hanging on to everything they got right now, and they're really not hiring. And if we can give them some long-lasting, good change to pull that back and make it easier for them, they should be able to start hiring again.
Okay. Believe it or not, we only have about a minute left. I took a little bit longer today in my section. Apologize for that.
That's okay.
But kind of, you know, we mentioned business, but kind of summarizing, what are your goals down there?
My goals are to make Minnesota a friendlier environment for businesses to start up, to expand, to grow, and so people can get jobs again, because jobs is the key. We need to get people back to work in Minnesota. And
Well, and then that in turn then makes it better for families.
absolutely. Mom and dad both working, or dad has a job, there's food on the table and the house stays put.
And then there's less government intervention.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then there's more freedom and more liberties.
Absolutely.
And
We had
then
another half hour,
then you
I'd go
have,
into that.
then you have freedom of association, where we're doing these forced associations now. We're making people pay for other people's stuff and values and goals that we don't support.
And if you want that same path that you've been on for 14 years, vote for him. If you want
Well-
a new direction, vote for me.
Well, it's a new direction that is a right direction. We
Thank
don't
you.
do change for change's sake. We do change for a specific reason, and that's give more liberties.
Absolutely.
Well, best to you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on,
Thanks.
and we'll get you on again before election time.
Sounds
and,
good.
Best wishes for you in your endeavors.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right.